This episode, we've got a guest host, and it's Nikki Hammer. Nikki is an associate at the BOLDR Innovation Center in Colorado. As a project manager with 15 years of experience, she helps coordinate multidisciplinary WSP project teams to implement smart building solutions. Nikki is a professional engineer and a lead AP. And as part of her work at the Innovation Center, Nikki provides the opportunity for her clients to experiment with smart buildings technology and evaluate real-time data for their benefit.
Smart isn't just technology. It is mechanical, electrical, lighting, sustainability, technology. You want to pull in all these groups.
You're listening to Smart Thinking, a podcast by WSP. I'm Nikki Hammer, taking you on a journey into smart buildings. In this podcast, we're talking about a global smart workplace strategy project that we developed for a multinational financial services company. Joining me here in the BOLDR studio in Colorado is WSP's head of specialty services for the US, Herbert Els. Herbert has pushed to drive our thinking outside of the traditional boundaries of our typical building engineering project. These forward-thinking projects, most notably the Good to Go project, have laid the foundation for the Think BOLDR Innovation Center. Welcome, Herbert. We've asked you to give some thought to one particular smart project. Can you tell us about the project?
I think one of the best projects to illustrate where we're going to in the future is really around strategic engagement. And the project that you mentioned is a prime example of how we're changing our business model from not only doing engineering projects, but really help our clients to strategize around what they should be doing long before there's an actual project. And it's really what excites me about this project specifically.
So how did you get connected with the client to begin with?
Interesting story. A lot of our clients are asking about what is smart and why should I have a smart building? And this particular client came to David Cooper at that time, and he found that the client was really interested in smart, really wanted to know what's going on, and felt that an engineering firm would give them a real answer and not just a typical report, but a real answer and take responsibility for what this solution should be.
So how did the scope of work evolve? What did it end up being that we actually did for this client?
They wanted to really look at globally what they should think of in the future of their workplace. They are competing for talent just like any other large firm today. Very focused on energy improvements, where the cost savings can lie for them, really very hard measurable side of the story. We started introducing to them more looking at space, real estate space. We know open office environments that everyone is implementing these days, and then also their employee experience, how the solutions on the smart side that they can implement that enhance the experience, but also makes their space at an optimum. So there's some real cost savings that they can measure, but on the employee side, not so easy to measure. But I think that's really what, in the end, what made a big impact for them.
Interesting. So it sounds like they were really trying to look beyond just the energy efficiency piece that we see so often.
It took a while. Yeah, we got experts from our firm that covered nearly every discipline. I think that's important to understand. Smart isn't just technology. It is mechanical, electrical, lighting, sustainability, technology. You want to pull in all these groups. We brought them to the table, and we kind of did the same on their side, where we brought stakeholders from the IT department, from management, from the real estate, and also find out what their roadmaps were, because we wanted to make sure that they understand in the end this is their strategy, and they would have to make changes on their business and operational model to really implement the strategy. So it isn't just a report.
Wow, it sounds very all-consuming from the owner's perspective. What were some of the big hurdles and obstacles that you faced going through this process?
I think it was exactly that. It's get everyone to buy into, spend time on it, really see it as an important part of their business. Obviously, making sure that they attend the strategy so they can adopt it in the end. That was probably one of the biggest things for us to overcome, to keep them engaged in the project. I think we did an excellent job on that. Part of it is we got great feedback from the firm, and now have a few follow-up projects for them. And then they really wanted to see a way to truly measure what this outcome will be in the end of the day.
In terms of finding ways to truly measure, Was there any sort of new methodology or process that the Smart Building Group created to measure results from this scope?
I think to us, that was one of the most exciting pieces that came out of it, is that with the help of our advisory services group, we were able to create a financial model. Client being a financial firm, it was really important for us to really illustrate. And we were able to create a financial model that showed them return on investment across all three spectrums, on the energy saving side, on the real estate space side, and also on the employee experience side. And now we have that model, because that's one of the first questions most clients ask us when we talk smart. They're like, well, that sounds great. How much is it going to cost me? And really showing them on the operational side, the return of investment, I think was the best outcome on this project.
And I know I've seen some information on how we kind of layer a foundation with some future forward measures. Do you help them kind of roadmap through that process?
Correct. Yeah, the road mapping turned out to be one of the things that they were really interested in. Not every client is willing to bite off the whole pie. And we help them step through what are the foundational elements that needs to be part of such a strategy that they need on the next project, that they should have at a minimal in that project. And then eventually, how do they get to the end result, if there is ever an end result? I don't think it's ever an end. Smart is not on day one. Buildings grow in becoming smarter. And so there has to be a continuous roadmap into what's next for them. And we laid that out for them too.
Got it. Last question. You mentioned some next steps with this client. Is there any kind of new or exciting opportunities laid out in those next steps that we're looking forward to working on?
Yeah, we've actually since then got another project from them that we are going to help them with. And so we are continuing our engagement with this client because they're a very happy client at the moment.
That's fantastic. A big thank you to Herbert. Sounds like we've got a lot of great opportunities to explore new work and new scopes in this space with clients in a very different and exciting way than business as usual. Join us for our next episode where architect Deepa Salam from Studio DS, who invites us into the world of smart design.
If something in this episode has piqued your interest, then have a chat with us. Email smart@wsp.com.
You've been listening to Smart Thinking, a podcast by WSP. I'm Nikki Hammer, and thank you for listening.